Hey guys, it's Lanhart here and welcome to episode 11 of season 1 of my F1 2016 career mode. Now, after a very good comeback at my home race in Britain, we're here at Hungary today, which is a very downforce heavy circuit, which might suit us a bit with our balanced car. And so yeah, let's get into the weekend. And we've just got a sponsor bonus. The team sponsor acknowledges your recent performances and provide additional resources, so that'll definitely help us with our upgrades on the car.
Hey, our upgrade pace is looking solid right now, but I do think we need to push harder if we want to stay competitive. Here's the report.
So obviously we have the status report here, and it seems that the Williams are pulling away, which is interesting considering we're ahead of them for one race. But obviously, thanks to that sponsor bonus, we have 1,000 resource points, so that's enough to get us the final second upgrade and move on to the final columns, which I said I'd do at the start. So we can get the downforce upgrade here, which is a bit disappointing considering that we really could have used it here because it's a downforce heavy circuit, as I said. But it's okay, we could definitely use it as Germany, which again has some high-speed corners, so downforce will be pretty important there, and we're still in 7th in the championship, which for a Toro Rosso is really good. We're punching above our weight here. So, enough of the talk, let's actually get into racing. Let's get on with practice 1.
Welcome to the Hungaro Ring for this weekend's Hungarian Grand Prix. But before we start to worry about race day, let's focus on today's practice, which is about to begin. A warm welcome once again to the man standing beside me in the commentary box for this session, Anthony Davidson. Hello, Ant. Excited to get underway?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to seeing the cars get out there on track. They probably won't be on the limit immediately, of course. We know that one or two of the teams are looking to do some work on new aerodynamic packages, so that always takes some time to get into. But it'll be really interesting to see later on in the session what kind of performance gains are there to be found.
Now, here in practice 1, I forgot to say that you've probably seen that I've put setups on my cards, and I have a setup for every track. And so one day I might show you them if you want to see it, so leave a comment down below if you actually want to see it. But checking through all the weather, it seems it's going to be raining in practice 2. So, I think what we're going to have to do is that we're going to have to be very speedy here, no pun intended, and get on with the track acclimatization to get all both practice regimes done in one practice session. And we actually started off pretty well, getting purple in our second lap of track. Oh no, it's not our second lap, it's our first lap, but it turns to the second lap of track acclimatization. Now going on to qualifying pace. Hungary isn't my best track, and as we know, the car isn't very good. It's not very good at predicting the qualifying stuff, because that's not actually how it's going to be. And so we're down on our first bit. But now on our second lap, just coming out of here, we get too much on the curb. As we go into the walls, we go sideways and crash in practice. And we haven't lost any wheels, it's not weird. I think it might just be the bit of the shunt that really took it. Because looking at the replays here, no, I think we just got 2 wheels on the curb when we lost it, as we just fly up into the air. It's just a bit weird, so let's get into qualifying.
Afternoon, race fans, and here we are again for qualifying at the Hungaro Ring. Who will have tuned the perfect setup for their car? We'll find out soon. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Here we are in quali and we're going up for our first lap, and it's overcast conditions, so I wanted to get out straight away to try and set a lap time in case it's going to rain. It didn't say it was going to rain, but the dark clouds really don't hold much hope for it not going to rain. But coming around the final corner here in Hungary, it's not been a bad lap, it's been a bit scrappy. We've had a really good sector here and a terrible one in the second and okay one in the third. As we just go into P5 behind Carlos and ahead of Sergio Perez. We're now going out for our second lap. This one was by far the best lap I've ever done around Hungary, as I found a lot of pace, and I was really pleased with it, as we somehow get into P5 ahead of Vettel and Button and Raikkonen, who's in 11th for some reason. But I don't know why, but I'm really pleased with that, and hopefully we can get a good result. So let's get into the race.
And until then, we've seen some astonishing Grand Prix here over the years, haven't we? The drama of 2015 is a recent example. Jenson Button's first win on a wet track in 2006, or in 1997, Damon Hill's heartbreak in the Arrows after a late gearbox failure cost him what would have been the team's only ever victory. What a wonderful place this is to come racing today. Located 12 miles northeast of the Hungarian capital Budapest, the 14 corners of the Hungaroring are steeped in history and prestige. Overtaking has always been difficult on this technical 2.7-mile circuit, but the last few years in particular have turned up some exceptional races. Let's hope we're in for another one here today. With me to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who made his Grand Prix debut here with Minardi back in 2002. So, Ant, this is a bit of a special one for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I also stood in to commentate on Jenson's win in 2006, and as I was a test driver for Honda at the time, you can imagine that was quite an emotional Grand Prix. It's also a tough circuit on the drivers, this one too. Lots of long, slow corners that require a lot of patience from inside the car. Plus, it's a very downforce heavy circuit. I mean, it's all relative, of course, but if you're lacking a bit in downforce, or if you've got a bit of an imbalance in the setup, this is definitely one of the worst places to have to deal with that.
We've qualified above where we expected to be, so try your best to hold on to this position in the race.
On the grid here for the Hungarian Grand Prix, we see that we're doing a super soft to medium tyre strategy. As we go to 5 red lights, as we're going to put it up into rich mix here, as now 5 red lights, and it's away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. As we get a better start than Vettel, and we're really good on traction, as we're just going to get ahead of Massa as well. As Hamilton tries to squeeze Rosberg into the wall like Schumacher did to Barrichello in 2010. We'll try to go around the outside of them, which is really, really good. And as we're just going to follow Rosberg here, going into turn 2, as we're just going to stick it down the outside. We don't outbrake him, he needs the space, but turns into us as he concedes position to us as we get up into P3 here in the first few corners. Going on to at the end of lap 1 here, we get on the grass a bit, so we lose the back end as we lose 2 positions to 2 Mercedes, and now Vettel's going to get us as well. And that really negates our starts to pretty much nothing as we lose all the positions, as actually we might have dropped down a place. We're now coming on to the end of lap 2, we get in the slipstream with Vettel as we're going to go down the inside, down into turn 1, as we get the move done, as we get back up into our grid slot of 5th place. But now on lap 5, it's been a long time, as Vettel's been following us for a long time, as he now has DRS obviously because it's enabled, and he goes down the inside of us as we try to outbrake him. We'll try to go around the outside of him, but I don't think it's going to work because he's going to get better traction, and he's now going to get up into 3rd place. We're just going to keep following him, going to try to outbrake him as we get close to his rear end, going into turn 2 and 3, as we've just got to let him go here because he's way faster than us. We're now on lap 6. Hopefully we're going in for a good pit stop, as we see Button tapping us a bit there coming into the pit entry. But we slow down and get obviously to depart, as hopefully we're going to get a good pit stop here, as we see Vettel behind us. He's just pitted, and hopefully we won't be held here. And no, we've been held, but I think Button's just going to come out behind us. Yes, and we do gain time on him as we go onto our soft things, and hopefully we can catch up to where we were. Now here on lap 13, we see that Alonso is going to come try down our inside going into turn 1, but we just defend from him as we try to go around the outside, as we squeeze him as much as possible, but he obviously gets better traction as he squeezes onto the curb and nearly swipes us a bit, as Perez is now trying to come down round our outside, but we defend from him. But I think that Alonso has just got 12th place, and after showing some good signs of early pace, there just hasn't really been anything in the race, which is really, really annoying. But I decided to change strategy here, and I decided to go into the pit to try and change my fortunes here, as we were stuck behind Julian Palmer of all people, as we get hailed in the pits because of Bottas, which is annoying as well. So the race is just going completely wrong, and it seems like a rubbish weekend. And I mean, we're getting close to Bottas, but he's stuck behind Nasser here, as we just tried to find a way past him, as he kind of opens the door for us because he knows we're slower than him. So we get the place there, but now we're coming around down the inside of Nasser with DRS down the start-finish rate, and now Bottas taps us as he tries to get past as well, as we get up into 19th place, which isn't very good after all. But now Bottas on the next lap or so, he tries to come down our inside, but it's just not going to work like how Rosberg did, but instead this time he gets swiped away. So yeah, it's a rubbish weekend, but I decided to go into mediums here because I thought it was the best strategy. So that's 4 pit stops already, I think, as far as I'm counting. It's just not very good. And I tried to make this change our fortunes, but it just wasn't. And it's been a terrible weekend. Like practice, we've crashed out there. And the only good part was qualifying. And I did the best lap I've ever done at Hungary. And that's it. That's the only good part of the weekend. So it's been terrible. And the VSC has now been deployed. And that's because of Nasser's retirement. So that's at least got somebody off our back. And now the VSC ends on the same lap. Now coming here on lap 30, something interesting. Magnussen's closing up on us, but he clips us and hits us as we retire from the race. Looking back on the footage, I get how we were trying to defend from him, so we went wide, and he just tries to go down the inside of us and taps us. And from his point of view, look, we swing on the track a bit. That he tries to go around the outside, but it's just not going to work. So he's still in the race, and that was all she wrote. So that's our first retirement of the season, and maybe our only retirement of the season. Maybe we'll have better luck in the next race in Germany, but yeah, it's a bit of a sad end, but it's fine. We get some decent resource points, but it's not enough to get a second upgrade for next time. And I think that I'm going to put it back to 25% because it's just quite stressful. But overall, it's a bit of a sad weekend. So I wouldn't say it's sad, but a bit of a disappointing weekend, all things considered, from where we qualified and everything. And as well as this, I think that we might have dropped down the championship as well. So we still stay in the same place. But thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, and you subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.